So I'm Adam,
And I'm Grace.
and we decided to tackle the issue of gay marriage and its legality in the United States.
Just a recent history on gay marriage. It was only on June 26, 2015, that the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that gay marriage is a right protected by the U.S. Constitution in all 50 states. Prior to their decision, same sex marriage was already legal in 37 states, but was banned in the remaining 13. The U.S. public opinion has shifted significantly over the years, from 27% approval of gay marriage in 1996 to 60% in 2015.
So we're going to look at the pros and cons now. I'm going to do the pros, and Grace is going to do the cons. As mentioned before, it's more people are now pro gay marriage than ever before. I mean, even compared to like 20 years ago in 1996, as she stated earlier, like only 27% of Americans approve of gay marriage. I mean, the shift is monumentous. It's now 60%, and this is a figure even from 2015. I'd beg it'd probably be higher today. So, what are some of the pros? Some of the pros, people who advocate for same-sex marriage say it's like a right, like it expands rights as an American citizen. So before, if you were gay, you couldn't get married. And a lot of people said then that was intruding on their constitutional right because our constitution does not, has a difference between, it's a separation of church and state. So gay people were saying, well, what if I'm not religious? Then what if I want to get married? Why is our constitution seemingly being run on like a Christian, a Catholic, like why is it being run as a Christian or Catholic document when it's supposed to be like freedom of everyone, like regardless of religion or whatever you practice, or if you don't practice at all? And then another pro on the pro side is it gives like tax purposes. So when you get married, you get new deductions, and gay people before who were partners didn't get wills and taxes. They a lot of the times they didn't have proper use of laws would prevent them from gaining an estate from one who died because they weren't married. And do you want to go over the cons now?
So, some of the points that people have against gay marriage is that marriage is defined as being between a man and a woman, and it's said to be for procreation, and meaning that same-sex couples cannot procreate. That's one of the big issues, and it is also against the Christian faith for gay marriage because the Christians believe that marriage should be for the reason to procreate, and same-sex couples again cannot do that.
And we can talk about another con with religious rights. We'll talk about Kim Davis. And Kim Davis she worked as a county clerk in Kentucky. And in 2015, in August of 2015, she refused to sign gay marriage certificates and licenses because it said an intrusion on her religious faith. Now, this is probably the biggest issue when it comes to the cons. A lot of people say, well, we're not necessarily against it, but we don't want to like support it in any way. So Kim was saying her job of signing these certificates was going against her faith. And she actually she got arrested because it is a federal crime to refuse to do that at a job. She got out of jail, and now they have a special rule in their county for that clerk's office where they can now have two people sign it, one Kim Davis signing it for straight couples, and then another employee who's okay with signing it for gay people can sign it. Do you want to talk about the recent 2012 cake incident?
Yes.
And what's going on right now, actually?
It's been widely known that in 2012 there was an encounter with Charlie Craig and David Mullins, who was a gay couple, and they were planning to get married. They visited a Masterpiece Cake Shop to buy a custom-made wedding cake when owner Jack Phillips refused to serve them. He told them that he does not want to serve same-sex couples, and he said that he claims that it's against his religious beliefs because they are not Christians, because Christians don't believe in same-sex marriage because they can't procreate.
Yeah, he actually said, this cake has never been, I mean, this case has never been about cakes. He said, it's about the rights of gay people to receive equal service in business and not be afraid to be turned away because of who they are. It's a basic access to public life. That's not what the owner said. I apologize. That's what the couple said.
And that was according to Fox News.
Yeah. And the case raises like tough moral and legal questions on, like, because everyone's entitled to their religious right, but then everyone's entitled to like equal treatment. This is honest. This is very similar to like segregation in the South in the '60s and like having whites only, black only restaurants. Like, do you think about? The question is, should a restaurant owner, a business owner, be able to deny service to someone because that's how they believe, or is when you're running a business, is it everyone is treated equally, religion's not involved? So it's a tough issue. Do you want to explain more about it?
Yeah, so according to Fox News, they had a part of an article that described like the tough moral and legal questions that the courts face in the encounter with the cake. And one of them was that, like, does the LGBT community deserve a higher level of protection from civil rights discrimination? And I personally believe they do because they're getting discriminated against, and it's their right to get married if they want to.
And then we have written down here, are artists like subjective to the same? Like, could the cake designer or maker, could he classify himself as an artist and more like as a freelancer, like, and say like, no, I'm not really business. This is an art form. Therefore, I can choose who I want to make this for. It's not like I'm denying business. It's more denying my art to supporting their cause.
And according to a USA Today article, the court's liberal justices said that the cake artist likely cannot refuse to serve gay couples. However, like the Supreme Court appeared to be divided down the middle whether or not the baker had the right to like refuse the denial or refuse to design a cake for the gay couple or not.
And it's interesting now that with Trump in office, we do have a conservative leaning court with more Republican. Well, I mean, none of the Supreme Court judges are really supposed to have political leaning, but it's well known that now the majority is more centered to the right with their political beliefs, and the decision should be coming within the year. I heard a news article about it today on the news, so it's definitely being talked about a lot. So I guess with the whole topic of gay marriage, we'll just go into our own opinions. Grace, you can start.
In my opinion, I believe that all marriage should be legal despite sex. If you love someone, and I mean, you should be granted the basic right to marry whomever you choose. And I have many friends who are gay, and I do not believe they or anyone else for that matter should be treated as second-class citizens and be denied the right to marry or for the simple task of going to get a wedding cake.
And I hold a similar belief. I support gay marriage. I have a gay uncle myself, and he shouldn't be treated any differently, in my opinion, just because he happens to be gay. I mean, it should be a right to get married. We stated the benefits. You get a lot of benefits being married, and honestly, if it's not affecting someone like personally, like I don't see what the problem is. And then like Grace, I have gay friends, and it's sad that they are still discriminated against because it's 2017 and it just seems like such a simple issue. I think in the future perhaps it will be compared to the civil rights movement, the gay rights movement in our time, because even like from the statistic we've showed that it's incredible to see how much progress has been done, but at the same time there's so much more progress to be done.
And like Adam said earlier, even though like it is legal for gay couples to get married, they're still discriminated against, and they still don't have the same basic rights that like straight couples have when going to get married or just like walking down the street with one another. Like they get dirty looks.
And there's still laws in several states that don't protect LGBTQ workers in the workplace from discrimination. There's just a ton of laws. There's laws against adoptions agencies in Alabama in particular who are trying to block gay couples from adopting kids, which that's, I don't agree with that at all. I mean, that's saying gay people are unfit to raise children just because they're gay. I mean, so yes, gay marriage is illegal, but there's a lot of talk, especially with the current administration, on rollbacks to gay rights, and it has a lot of people worried for legitimate reasons, I think.
I think we both believe like that the LGBT community deserves a higher level of protection, like from civil rights discrimination. Like there should be laws put in place that say like you can't discriminate against the LGBT community and
Yeah. And I think even when people do bring up the topic of religion and gay marriage, I think a good message, the Bible, it says to love your neighbor like yourself. So maybe gay marriage isn't supported by the Bible, but there's so many, and as Franciscans at St. Bonaventure too, we're supposed to help the vulnerable and we're supposed to help people who are looked down upon in society. Maybe it is a flaw to some people, but I just kind of think it's a different lifestyle, and I think everyone deserves to be respected and share equal opportunities that this country gives us. I think we're all done that, right?
yep, thank you.
Thank you.